Hi guys, so before getting started with today's episode, I have two life updates to share with you real quick. First one is that it's been a month since I came back from Portland, and I know that I just finished uploading the videos last week, but it takes a long time to work on them, all the footage, to develop all the photos and scan them, edit them, and put everything together. So I haven't shot much since then. I think that I just shot 2 rolls in the whole month of March around here in the local woods and some places around here, but so pretty much nothing. And I've been itching to get out. I really need to get out and take some photos and go on an adventure. That's finally happening in 3 or 4 days. I'm leaving. I'm gonna go on a trip by myself to South Dakota, where I'm gonna be spending 5 days. It's gonna take me 2 days to get there, 2 days to come back. So 4 days on the road, 5 days there, hopefully taking photos. So I'll probably be posting no videos next week, but videos from that trip to South Dakota will be coming soon for sure. And the second one is that our time here in the Midwest is coming to an end. In 1 month from today, we'll be in Lisbon, Portugal. We're not gonna be spending any time in Portugal or Lisbon this time. We are just flying there because Luna is coming with us, so we try to find the shortest flight possible. So we're gonna be driving to New York from here and flying from New York to Lisbon. That's a 6.5-hour flight. Hopefully that's okay for her. And after Lisbon, we'll be moving to Spain. For those who don't know, I'm from there, so we'll be spending some time there, a few months probably, with family that we haven't seen in years. And of course, we're gonna be going on trips around there, and I hope I get to show you my home country a little bit. That's exciting too. And then later this year, we'll be moving to somewhere else in Europe, probably Italy, but that's farther ahead, so we'll talk about that later. So those were the 2 updates that I wanted to share with you, and now let's talk about this little guy. Alright, about the Holga. So I've been wanting to talk about this camera for a long time. Actually, last week I went to a local park that is nearby, and I actually recorded a whole video, and I took some shots with this camera. I wanted to make a point, to make the point that you can actually create great images with this camera, and I completely failed because I got terrible light leaks on most of my photos. So I don't think that was a good way to show you guys or someone who doesn't believe you can create good images with this camera to convince them that you actually can. So that's why I'm doing this video all over again. As you might have noticed, I have tape all around my camera now, trying to avoid those light leaks. I'm not entirely sure they are light leaks anyway. There might be some flare because it was a very sunny day, and I never got any light leaks with this camera on cloudy days. It's only when the sun is out. So I know what it is. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm sure that most of you know this camera already, but for those who don't, this is a toy camera. It's a plastic camera. It's a medium format camera. It uses 120 film, the same kind of film that my Bronica does. So I shoot HP5 most of the time here. It's a very flexible film that it works very well with this camera because you can't really control the exposure here. You only have 2 settings, that is cloudy and sunny. That could be f8, f13, f22, something like that. I don't know. It varies from camera to camera. The quality control on these cameras are pretty terrible. The shutter speed is fixed at 1/100th of a second, although it's not exactly 1/100th of a second either. The focus is not precise, as you can see. I don't know if you can see there, but it has some symbols like one person, a group of people, a larger group of people, landscape. So it's not very precise, and you never know if the focus is going to be precise or not. So as I said, this is a toy camera. I paid some $35 2 months ago. It's brand new. It came with a roll of film, so the actual price is what, $30, and it shows. It's made of plastic. The lens is made of plastic. That creates a whole new set of problems. The corners are very soft. They are pretty much trash. Not that the center is much better, but the corners are pretty terrible. What else? Oh yeah, you can shoot bulk mode here, but it doesn't have a shutter release, so you can't connect a cable, so you have to hold the shutter down while you take the long exposure. I tried last week and it was better than I thought, but it doesn't really work for that use case. But yeah, I think that the best way to describe this camera is unreliable, very low quality, and rather expensive, because as I said, it's 120 film, so you get some between 12 and 16 exposures, because you can shoot a square or 6:4:5, 6:4:5. So it depends on what you are shooting. You get between 12 and 16 exposures. So it can get really expensive to shoot with this camera. And you might be wondering or asking yourself, why hell would anyone want to use this camera? And that, my friend, is a very good question. You see, I can only speak for myself. People who love this camera, they will tell you different things. They will have different opinions, why they love it, what they use it for. But in my case, I found that the more I use this camera, the more it forces me to think out of the box. And what I mean by that is, as you know, I shoot film and I shoot black and white, like 99.9% of the time. And that means that if I see a scene like a tree with a foreground, background, the sky, whatever, I have to convert everything that I'm seeing with my eyes to black and white. That's the first step, trying to visualize that scene in black and white. So that's the first step, and that's something that I have to do with this camera, with 35mm or with the Bronica. It doesn't really matter. That's something that I have to go through because I shoot in black and white. But this one adds 1, 2, 3 multiple layers of complexity on top of that one. So you have to be thinking all the time, not only about what you are shooting, not only that you are shooting in black and white, but you have to think about what this camera is going to do to that photo. You have to try to visualize. You have to try to make that image in your mind. Your imagination has to run a little bit wild, trying to imagine how the borders or the sides are gonna look, because they're gonna be blurry, they're gonna be pretty much destroyed. The distortion in this camera, you have to think what that does to straight lines. They're not gonna be straight anymore with this lens. So stuff like that. It's not about working around the flaws of this camera. It's about embracing them and using them to your advantage, knowing that you can be in a rather boring place on a sunny day, rather boring sunny day, like I was at the park last week. And I know that most of the photos were ruined, but some of them were kind of promising. And that's one of the characteristics of this camera, that you can create, in my opinion, amazing images anywhere. It doesn't really matter the time of the day or the place, because it has such unique characteristics, or such a unique look to this to the images that other cameras, regular cameras, don't have. I found that this camera, the blurriness and the softness on the corners, can help you a lot isolating subjects. So if you take a photo of a tree, once again, that has like the scene has a busy background. With any other camera like the Bronica, there is no way for you to get rid of that background. But maybe this camera, being so soft and so blurry, and some on the right, on the left sides of the image, it might help you a lot isolating that tree from the rest of the scene. So that's what I mean by embrace the flaws of this camera and try to use them to your advantage. So once you start embracing the flaws of this camera, when you start embracing the very soft focus and corners, you might start seeing things that you didn't see before. One of the things that I love the most about film is that it's very rewarding to actually visualize a photo in the field and use everything that you have in the whole process, starting with the camera, then the developing, and then scanning, and then editing the photo to get to achieve that final result you saw on the field first. And there is something very, very rewarding about actually getting the result, and not something that just happened to happen, you know. But when that same thing happens with this camera, that is 10 times more rewarding, because you saw it and you saw through this camera, you realize how this camera thinks, and you know the results that you can take with this camera. I'd say give the Holga and any other toy camera or cheap camera a chance, because they might improve your photography in ways that you never thought of. You're not gonna get worse because you shoot this camera. You can only improve. And if it doesn't work for you, well, that's alright. It was $30. You can give it away to someone else or something like that. Personally, I carry this camera with me all the time now. I always have a roll of film loaded here, and I have another one with me in my backpack or my pocket. Whoa, this is a thunderstorm. Nice. Anyway, I'm gonna show you some photos I've taken with this camera so far. I feel like I should tell you that I had this camera before. I sold it because I didn't want to bring it with me, and I got it again. So these photos are not only from the last 2 months, but they were from last year too. And yeah, let's go. And that's about it. I don't think I have anything else to say about this camera. Please let me know what you think about these, the Holga or toy cameras or cheap cameras in general. If you have one, if you have used it, if you plan on using it, or if you just plain hate them because you don't like the look and you prefer to have a better camera. Let me know. No matter what, thanks for watching and for being there. I'll be making another couple videos for this week. Probably there will be no videos, as I said, for during next week because I'm gonna be out in South Dakota. But yeah, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.